Strangers and you weirdos and you strange weirdos. Thinking I might change gears on my channel and do some new things and just get out of this matrix of consciousness and awareness and get into well, if there seems to be a backdrop to reality, a backdrop to being aware of being having some sense and sensibility about the way that things seem to function in this reality. Um, just go into the place that's behind that, which is nothingness, where everybody just says Om, and we just meditate, and we don't really do anything. There's no reality, because behind reality is non-reality. It's nothingness. What's up, Cam? So I just whatever this moon is, and what people seem to be, are they archonic forces? I've talked about this before, about the sense of our people. In fact, it was actually Joey 603. He just did a video on this, and it must be what's going on now. You sense people and their archonic forces, their actual demonic or um, angelic energies. And people that know me well enough, there's no differentiation between angels and demons. They're the same thing. And when I talk about archonic forces or things like this, it's more of a sense of just the massive energy that gets inside of someone's skull, that makes them believe something, that makes them think something, that makes them act a certain way. Because there's a difference between acting like something and being like something. Being like something is who you are. It's feeling. Feeling is essential. And then there's emotions, and these emotions are dealing with acting. It means you act as if something. That way you can get a desired response. So there's a lot of people, most people in reality, because they've been taught and instructed in a way to be unfeeling, to get rid of their sentience, to get rid of their feeling nature, and to know and think that there's an outcome right there. It's right there, and then they got to go through these steps to get there. Now this happens in a lot of different ways, but we've been instructed in this to such a point where people want an outcome and they think they have to do things to get it. And in fact, they go so far as to say, I will have that outcome. I will have exactly what it is that I want and desire, and this is how I will get it. And that's what the patriarchal programming does. Now, the aloof programming, which is the opposite, the opposing force, the aloof programming comes into play. It says, oh, well, nothing matters and everything is just love and light and blah, blah, blah. And this is everything is nothing. And it takes away the truth of it and turns it into an absurdity. And when I say that, what I'm talking about is the truth that behind everything. There's really like the universe is meaningless. There's nothing to it. But we decide to infiltrate this space with some sort of ideas of how consciousness works. It's our consciousness looking at itself saying, how does it work that I'm conscious about my conscious thoughts? And then behind that is just this empty nothingness that we organize somehow. We take this chaotic universe, and what happens where I say this confusion comes in, if you read a book about Tao, like Everything is the Tao, or you read the Tao of Pooh, has anybody read the Tao of Pooh, like Winnie the Pooh? A great read. And you can also read there's another one on that Piglet does, and there's another one that one of the other characters does, Eeyore, I think. Anyways, the concept is that we've taken something that is truthful, and that somehow the way that people get through the world just on this aloof thing, that they're actually unaware, that they actually take pride in their ignorances and unawareness, and then try to impose that on you. Like, because they're clueless, you must be clueless too. And there is no knowing. There is no absolute knowledge. There is no... Yes, there is. I'm certainly in a better position now in my life than I was when I was 10. There's no doubt in my mind about that. And I'm more aware. I'm more conscious. I'm more educated. I'm more all of these things. So there is a more. There is an essence of education, of wisdom, of guidance, of whatever it is. Nobody can tell you where it comes from, and that's the truth part. But people, they go, oh, because it comes from nowhere, let's just all sit and bask in nowhere. Well, if that works for you, that's great, and that's fine, and that's dandy. But it brings me back to the concept of what I've tried to teach, which is that there's two realities. There's the objective and there's the subjective reality. The objective reality is what's happening right now in front of you. The subjective is you being a king or queen and saying, this is how I'd like something to be. It uses the future. It uses the future as an open canvas to design something upon. But there's no doubt that this current reality exists as a truth. Just as the next reality that's going to occur right now, that's a truth. Those are both true things. Those both happen. Those are both experiences that have engaged with our memory system and done something to upgrade or alter our awareness, our consciousness. And now, to go a little farther with this, when we talk about changing consciousness, everybody's like altering consciousness. Everything you do, if you're aware, is altering your consciousness. Dealing with someone in public will alter your consciousness. Going on vacation with some people, change your consciousness. It doesn't have to be ingesting something all the time. Everybody thinks, oh, if I take some mushrooms, I'll see the world and I'll see all the things that are going on and I'll know what reality is really about. And then they come down off of those mushrooms and what do? Well, nobody else sees it, so what the fuck good does it do? This is what people don't really... They won't accept that, okay, there is this reality that we're dealing with. And we'd like to get over there. And somebody goes, no, nothing exists. But I'm looking at the island right there. We can just build a boat and go there. No, we don't need to do anything. We just sit here in the emptiness of everything. Nothing matters anyways. Like, no, you're missing the point. We're looking at this big, beautiful island right there. Just let's put the shit together and do it. And that's putting the pieces together in your consciousness to get to where you want to go. Now, the teaching is to sit in meditation, to be in that empty space of that silence, which is a great place to be. But so is this reality, or else why would you have it? Why would you be in it? Everybody plays this game, this pseudo guru bullshit, and that's why like I'm not anybody's guru. I don't know shit. Wait, hold on. Wait, I do know something. And that's why I'm talking, because I do know something. And if you know something, I would hope you would make your little channel and speak up and say what you have, that you know, that is new, that's valuable to the whole spaceship, right? If we're on the spaceship Earth and we're flying through the galaxy of wherever we are, the system, we add to it and we can build something anew, like Bucky Fuller says, right? Spaceship Earth, and how do you get old systems to how do you get rid of old systems? You build a new one, and the old system becomes obsolete. Now, how this all, that's the idea. We know that last week, we know that when our parents were around, there were these kind of cars. We know that now we have better things. Well, do we take that and say, well, they didn't have an experience? Our parents' system were untrue? That's blasphemy of their experience. How can you say that? How can you tell someone else their experience is unjustified, untrue, or not valuable? That's ridiculous. Calling someone crazy, that's that Dave Chappelle shit. Calling someone crazy is dismissive. You don't know anybody's experience, but then when they share that experience with you and try to enlighten people, then you go, oh, no, we're just all in empty space. Don't worry about anything. Well, then there's no use for the artist. There's no use for this. There's no use for me talking. There's no use for your body. Nothing matters, right? And this is the concept that all of these, I find myself, scrolling through Instagram a little bit and just going, there's nothing to learn on here. No one's teaching anything. And then I see all this regurgitation of nonsense that people just like type yes if, and they just, it's this call and response mechanism. Oh, there's a cool person that's publicized. They said something that must be good. Whatever he said's awesome. Whatever she said's awesome. What is it doing? What's the nourishment to you? What's the application for you? What's the, things that I'm talking about? This is not like tooting my own horn, but who the fuck else is going to toot my horn for me? The shit I talk about is applicable. You can apply everything I say to your life, and it will do something. And I'm not saying this to I'm fucking some king shit. I'm just saying it in the sense of everybody else out here is just parroting a bunch of nonsense to a giant audience of nobody that's doing nothing about anything. That's going to continue on living in the illusion world where there's doctors and there's poisons and there's school systems that are feeding our kids shit, and there's that's the real world that we're talking about, that we, the people that are really trying to dig in and do something about it by educating people, and then you got people come here, no, don't worry about that, that's nothing, it's all untrue anyways, there's no truth, the truth is just emptiness. And I'm on some funny people that it's funny, I must have spoke a video yesterday about the different ways of dealing with people, and like how to deal with crazy people and how to deal with narcissists and how to deal with, or even in a sense of your own mind, because we all have these little control mechanisms within our own system that were architected and put there by the state and by the capitalist system that says, here's how you do things, here's how you get what you want. And it's about getting rid of those concepts, getting those things out of your mind, if this is the order we do things. And there's people that I talk to that have jobs that are in environments that require planned out order to get to something. And it's I mean, that's what you deal with on a day-to-day basis. And they talk to me as if because I don't follow those orders that somehow I don't know what's going on, that I don't see that I don't see the world for what it is. This is just how it's done and how it's always going to be done. Like no, we're talking about changing the guard. We're talking about changing the realm that we live in, because if you don't care about yourself, that's fine. You know, this is the whole thing. If you don't care about yourself, that's fine. But do you care about your kids? Do you care? You know, play that game. Everybody falls for that one. Do it for the kids. Well, do it for the kids. You know, do it for the next generation. Do it for your grandchildren. Or if you think you're coming back, do it for your next life that you'll live when you loop back around and come back in on your next life. And when everything's better, you go, shit, this is a pretty cool place. I wonder what happened. And all of a sudden, like, you'll have that astral, you dream this existence here. I know beyond some, you know, you've dreamed this existence. You're like, oh, actually, I played a part in creating a new environment for all of reality. So, yeah. So I think I'm going to change gears up on this for a little while, because I have, 700... No, Katesh, you don't have to do anything, my friend. In fact, here, let me see. I'll redo the rant just for you. You came right in time for it. So I'm going to rededicate this channel to 100% humor and wittiness and silliness and contradiction and bizarreness. I'm going to give it a whole new flavor, because I've already said everything that needs to be said as far as instructing people on the wild world of whimsical delights of the mind and how to create your reality through the architecting, through the mainframe of the science fiction capital of the world, which is inside of your mind. You can create new worlds and wonders. And so I think I'm going to just go on a journey of being as absolutely bizarre and insane as possible on here. We'll do some weird things. I'm going to start doing some experiments on frogs, I think, or with frogs. I don't know. Maybe I'll lick a frog's ass, and what do they call that? What's the chemical in the frog's ass? Maybe we'll do that. Maybe I'll do a live show of me licking a frog's ass, and then it'll be fun. So yeah, this reminds me of the quote that I didn't quite get around to, that I'll reinsert here. It's from the Matrix, or not from the Matrix. It's from Men in Black, the third one. It's the third one, where the second one, where the girl says, every time it rains I cry, and then the guy goes, no, every time you cry it rains. Now that's the precipice of what I try to teach about, or I have at least, that precipice of those realities, the abstract and then what you actually see, the future and the present, and this kind of weird little time that exists in between, creating thing. Is she creating the rain, or is the rain creating that? It's a looping mechanistic system, and it has to do with that observer and the observed environment. So of course, if you put something in a terrible environment, it's going to become terrible. Or whatever you'd like to call it. If you put something in a purple environment, it'll become purple, so we don't use any words that will offend people. Terrible might be an offensive word. Or if you put somebody in a glorious environment, could that then create glory for the whatever was put in the environment? But then in the opposite way, you'd say, oh, one rotten apple spoils the bunch. So what we see is this weird, what part of reality are we playing? How much control do we have over the weather, and how much control does the weather have over us? Like it's raining out today. Now, have I worked with the weather before? Sure. Did I do all of this? I doubt that. I didn't think I wanted to be raining for 3 days and be cold here in New Orleans. I don't think I had any part in that, but you know, I'm sure I had some part in it. But how consciously aware was I affecting the weather? And now, how much am I going to let the weather affect me? I mean, now I can't really go outside. I mean, I can. Who's going to be out there playing in the outside today? So it would involve me doing something different, right? So these things about what impact do we have on the environment to alter and change the environment, and what kind of impact does the environment have on altering and changing us? And this gets into the ideas of what major cities are, what beautiful grown cities are. If you look into Dan Winch's work and these beautiful places that he talks about and how they're built out of the flower of life and built out of the golden mean, and how the energy runs in these different cities, and look in different kinds of energy and the way that buildings are cropped up, that some are actually anti-life, and in every way the way that um, the kind of materials that have been used are anti-life, or against life force, or against all of the humanness that actually are the decaying aspects of the world, which need not exist in the way that they do, but simple minds building simple structures created things that were succubuses and energy leeches and vampiric forces, which are these major cities. And there's no doubt about that. You can look at it, you can look at the structures, these are measurable things. This isn't good, bad, or indifferent. It's just a matter of looking at it and saying, is that the right way to build something? And so now we're sit here in an environment where we see there are people that have built those cities, and then there are people living in those cities. Can the people from inside of the cities change and alter the buildings, change and alter the space in the area? So I find this really interesting spot of weather modification. How much are we modifying the weather? Because I've made these videos in the past about, okay, initially the way that they were modifying the weather was they were using this device here, well, the television, and they were giving you a weather forecast. They were forecasting it, like casting a spell, so that a bunch of people would then consciously together say, oh, apparently they said it's gonna rain today, and they know what's going on, so it's gonna rain today. They said they have satellites. Well, we know today they don't have satellites. What they do have is someone standing there telling 40% of the population it's going to rain today, and everybody's going, it's going to rain today, it's going to rain today, it's going to rain today. Clouds form, rain. This is how it works. I know, to what degree is that weather modification happening now? Did somebody stop that? Are people, not turning into the news anymore, and all of a sudden they really need to modify the weather through technical things by spraying the clouds in the sky? Is that about the time in the 90s they started spraying in the skies? Is that about the time that people were waking up to the fact that this shit, we're not going to believe these people, the weatherman on the TV, we're not believing the news anymore because it's all fake and fallacy? They're trying to manipulate time, they're trying to manipulate our consciousness in the future. So where do we sit in that? To create our own environment, whatever it might be, whether it's a physical object, a house to live in, or the larger living space, the entire goddamn planet, or plane, or realm, or wherever you think you live. And so, looking at these environments, what is your mental environment look like, and how far does your mental environment reach? Yeah, you fucking weirdos. What's up, Zach Chrono? So, I guess this was just a little dive into the weird world of wisdom and quirkiness of the mind, of strangeness that it seems to be inside of my skull. What up, Tom Corner? Who else is here? What's up, Cam? Daniel Drury. Well, thank you, Cam. What up, Danny Delane? Cool, man. I can't wait to see it, Cam. That'll be awesome. Glitter Kid, you once said something about the meaning behind the name. What would be your name then? My name? My name is I Am. Right? And what other name would you have? It's I Am, then fill in the blanks, whatever you like. Katesh, apparently your laptop is not properly catching this because I crossed the signal so it wouldn't get to your laptop. That's what I did, Katesh. Because it wasn't for you. What up, Chow Gregory? Yeah, Michael Grubb. I know who he is. I haven't seen too much of him in his aerokinesis. I've seen what's his name? He used to do some really cool aerokinesis. Shabbat. What's his name? Everybody knows who he is. Um, reprogram the Matrix, dude. RTM. Reprogram the Matrix. He did a lot of stuff on kinesis work. He took most of his videos down because he had some really extra next level wisdom on how it was done. Then he did a pay for program, but he's still awesome stuff. I forget his name off the top of my head. Yeah, Loomis. Yeah, it's fine. Just get into the craziness of the rants, huh? What up, Jessica? And Jordan Wheeland. And what's up, Pink Motorcycle? Cool. Oh, wicked. All right, fine. Here, I'm shutting this all off right now. I'm reading Cam's paper, and then anybody wants to come back and see me, I'm gonna criticize. I'm gonna rip it apart, Cam. I'm gonna I'm gonna judge the shit out of your paper. I'm kidding, obviously. So I'll see you in a little bit. I'm actually gonna read it right now because I ain't got nothing else to say. So we'll talk to y'all in a second. And for anybody new that comes to this, yeah, I'm gonna judge Judy the fuck out of it. Anybody new that comes here in the future, if you want, you can feel free to support me by pushing any of the buttons beneath and give me some of your currency because I have put an awful lot of currency into all of the work that I put out for people here. And I think anybody else would let you know that. So chat soon, y'all.